Oh, my goodness. You guys, come on.
Wow.
Ladies and gentlemen. All right, first of all, big round of applause. Thank you to the Minister of Mayhem, Jeff, everybody here at Three Heads. Huge thank you for having us out here tonight. I love all of you guys so much. We love all of you guys so much for being out here. Give yourselves a big round of applause for coming out here tonight. Thank you. Thank you.
Woo.
All right. You feeling good?
I'm feeling great.
You look very sparkly.
I put on my best Tommy suit.
Cut! Can't shine like that, man. All right, ladies and gentlemen, the reason we are here tonight, put your hands together for Mr. Tommy Mule. And how about one more round of applause for Jeff, also on drink service tonight. Come on, ladies and gentlemen. By the way, real quick, I want to say thank you to Cakes by Karen. Where is our Scotch cake? Do we have a Scotch bottle cake? We have one around here. I know it was somewhere. It is over here at the table. Have you guys seen it? It is beautiful. We love it. Thank you so much. All right, Kimmy, are we ready?
I'm ready. Are you ready?
Let's do this thing.
Well, our story starts in the state of New Jersey. The year 1959. There lived a family as American as any other. Mike Mule was a World War II vet, a Navy man, where he ensured that the Nazis never invaded the Finger Lakes. Did a good job, too.
He did a great job. He did a great job, yes.
Mike worked in publishing in New York City, and he had a fine woman by his side. Edie Mule, also a World War II vet, but she was a Marine. Badass woman with a hell of an ass.
And a rack. Kick-ass rack.
Edie was a homemaker, and when 1959 started, she was raising her 3 children, 2 boys and a young daughter. Life was good. Their family was complete. And there was nothing more than this family needed to be happy.
But in the month of February, Mike blasted one off inside his wife. And wouldn't you know, Edie was with child. In July, the Mule family welcomed a baby boy into the fold. His name, Thomas James. It's James, right? By the way, fun fact, Tommy is named after a cousin of his who passed away. That's true. You want to talk about a bad omen right off the start.
But there is something we failed to mention up until this point. You see, Tommy's siblings, they were older. The boys were going into high school. His sister was supposed to be the last. Tommy was, to put it politely, a surprise. If you want to put it literally, he was an accident. But the world was only beginning to find out the accident that would be the life of Tommy Mule.
Am I plugged? My fault, thank you. Ready?
All right.
Let's do it.
New Jersey, 1959. There's a baby on the way from the Mule bloodline, but this was different. With all due respect, Tommy was a baby that they didn't expect. He's a mistake, baby. He's a mistake, baby. They had a couple of kids, life was going great. Why couldn't his dad just masturbate? He's a mistake, baby. He's a mistake, baby. It's not easy raising up a son. An accidental child can't just be undone. But he's coming, it's done, there's no going back. Thanks to his mama's gorgeous rack. He's a mistake, baby. He's a mistake, baby. time for raising kids had coming past. He should have ran down the crack of his mama's ass. He's a mistake, baby. He's a mistake, baby. Maybe things will be okay. Children are a blessing is what they say. But as much as you hope, as much as you pray, you never met a dick like Mike Mule. He's a mistake, baby. He's a mistake, baby. Things could have been great, things would have been fine if only his parents had 69. He's a mistake, baby. He's a mistake, baby. He's a mistake, baby. He's a mistake, baby.
Ryan Duffy, ladies and gentlemen.
You know, Tommy really couldn't have come at a better time. See, his siblings grew up very blue collar, and his dad did well, but it's not like he was rich. But as proof as any idiot could get rich back in the day, his dad hit it big. A stock market stroke of luck right as Tommy was born. And wouldn't you know, in the 1960s, Mike Mule was a millionaire. It meant only the best for Tommy.
That's right. His dad would bring him home high-end toys from New York City. His mother had everything. Look at that little baby boy. That crust was scalding his hands. His mother would cook 3 full meals a day. But before long, Tommy's dad, he got sick of the grind of the city, sick of the winters and the traffic and his job. And like we said, he was a millionaire. So Tommy's dad made a decision. He retired young. He was going to move the whole family to the newly expanding state of Florida. Yeah, or not, I don't care. They built a home right on the water, and they lived next to other wealthy former New Yorkers. And Tommy, his ass was spoiled.
Anything he wanted, he got. All the G.I. Joes, all the Tonka trucks, brand new. But the piece de resistance. At 10 years old, Tommy was given his own boat. Because why not try to drown the kid you didn't mean to have? From what it sounds like, things were good. But there was something lurking beneath the surface. And then in his teens, Tommy started to struggle. Not at home where he got everything he wanted, more at school. His grades. But his parents, with their money, hired tutors.
See, it didn't help, because Tommy was a special kind of stupid. I mean, look how stupid that kid looks. By the way, he was also a dick kid. Huge dick. And that will happen when you give your kid everything they could ever want. And things were getting desperate. So this family, so perfect, could not have a stupid dick kid. His father thought he had it figured out. So he was going to send him away and teach him to straighten up and fly right.
Military school is what the solution would be. But little did Tommy's parents know it was far worse than they could ever have imagined.
Thank you. Ready? Sure.
Year after year, school after school, you don't take no guff, you don't need any rules. He knows it all, he'll forge his own path, but he can't speak no English, and he don't do no math. That's 'cause he's young, southern, and dumb. That's 'cause he's young, southern, and dumb. He don't have a plan, this young Florida man. That's 'cause he's young, southern, and dumb. That's 'cause he's young, southern, and dumb. His future ain't bright, he don't need to wear shades, cutting all of his classes and his drunk escapades. He don't care about books, he just wants to be cool. Dropping acid with strangers while he's in summer school.
That's a true story.
That's 'cause he's young, southern, and dumb. That's 'cause he's young, southern, and dumb. Stupid, lazy, Robert E. Lee. That's 'cause he's young, southern, and dumb. First time. That's 'cause he's young, southern, and dumb. That's 'cause he's young, southern, and dumb. Yes, sir, he's young, southern, and dumb.
Everybody, come on.
That's 'cause he's young, southern, and dumb.
I just want to take a second to appreciate those harmonica skills.
No, that's really his first
That was
time, and you could
amazing.
hear it in the whole thing.
Very good. Tommy raised hell at military school. His grades were somehow worse despite the tens of thousands of dollars his dad was spending.
Also a true story, by the way.
Very true. He got in all kinds of trouble, so much so that one spring break, he had to stay back at school to work in the kitchen for all the demerits he had gotten. It wasn't all bad. Tommy did have some fond memories, like showering with all of his classmates and teachers. You have to look for the bright things.
So his father realized that he was wasting money, and so he brought him home. He brought him to a public school, Okeechobee Public High School, which, fun fact, at the time, still a part of the Confederacy. Now, believe it or not, his grades did not get any better, which was strange because his parents were doing all they could. For example, there was a time where Tommy was suspended from school for being a stupid dick kid. There you go, there he is, yeah. And his dad, Tommy's dad, wanted him to know that he meant business. But his dad also had a fishing trip planned that week. So Tommy went on a fishing trip with his dad.
Tommy's dad had one more trick up his sleeve to get his son to fly right: religion. He enrolled Tommy in Jupiter Christian School, a senior class of 19 kids, very strict.
By the way, 2 of them were dead 5 years after he graduated. That's also a true story. I don't know why you're laughing. That's horrifying. You guys are terrible. You're terrible people.
The girls there, not allowed to wear pants, no prom, a religious speech from a pastor. Believe it or not, this did nothing to help Tommy. And this young man did not have the grades when his senior year was coming to an end. Keep in mind, this is a religious Southern high school in the 1970s. He couldn't graduate from a religious Southern high school kind of dumb.
It's true. It's like I'm looking at him every day. But Tommy had a plan. You see, while getting terrible grades and getting drunk in high school, causing all kinds of problems, Tommy had gotten himself a job. He was working at Winn-Dixie. It's a grocery store chain, very popular in the South. He had a good job cutting meat waiting for him, but he needed a high school diploma to keep working. So Tommy went to the dean of the school, and this is a true story, told him he had found religion. Tommy told this man that Jesus came to him and told him that he was meant to be a meat cutter and live a pious life. We are not making any of that up. So the dean heard Tommy out. Some say it was because he believed Tommy had a divine interaction. Some say it was because he wanted no part of Tommy Mule anymore. Some say he was hammered drunk at the time because he was the dean of a religious Southern high school in the 70s, and when you had that job, you could just do whatever you want all the time. But that dean waved his hand, and just like that, young, southern, and dumb Tommy Mule had himself a high school diploma.
He's been waiting decades for that, by the way.
Yes, he finally got his round of applause, yeah.
There was a big celebration. Tommy's graduation party included himself, his dad, and his mom. His graduation gifts, a pair of tennis shorts, and a tack hammer. That's it.
Still wears those shorts to the studio, by the way.
I guess his dad was sick of spending money on him at this point. So at 18 years old, now a man, Tommy Mule began his career cutting meat at the Winn-Dixie. School wasn't for him, but that's okay. He had a good job that makes him a good living. And if he works hard enough, he can get promoted and make something of himself. Does he do that? No, he does not.
Gosh!
The guys he works with, much older than he is, Korean and World War II vets, folks from up north that came to Florida trying to escape terrible things that they did. At one point, he worked with a man who legitimately murdered people in Michigan and also tried to kill one of his coworkers in the trash compactor.
Again, totally true story. Totally true story.
And a hell of a place for an 18-year-old to be.
So while that was happening, Tommy discovered something at his job. He didn't have to pay for anything while he was working. Now, that wasn't some amazing perk working at the Winn-Dixie. He was stealing. And this was before the days of barcode and cameras, so he was stealing everything. Every meal every day he took from the store. Seafood for his parents he took from the store. This is not a joke. This is a true fact. Tommy stole so many razor blades from Winn-Dixie. Thank you, 1950s comedians. He stole so many razor blades from Winn-Dixie, he did not have to buy a single razor until after the year 2010. That is true. So he stole so much from the Winn-Dixie, we actually have the stock price of Winn-Dixie in front of us here. So in 1970, doing pretty good, 75 crawling. Right around 1980 is where Tommy starts working there. And as you see what they call the Mule effect on Wall Street, down to about 1990. And then when he leaves, look at that, they're back again.
Magical. We've left out a very important part of Tommy's life. The ladies.
Ah! Anyone else getting aroused?
Believe it or not, this man was not so much a lady killer. Who'd have thunk that girls weren't into tiny, obnoxious, bug-eyed, busted-ass, weird clothes-wearing, spoiled rich kids? It was so bad he dated a girl named Terline Riemschneider.
That was her actual name. And she looked like a Terline Riemschneider.
But now, as a man working at the Winn-Dixie, things were changing. He met a girl, and they fell in love. So much so, in fact, that he decided this girl he wanted to spend the rest of his life with. So Tommy Mule popped the question, and she said yes.
Oh.
At 22 years old, Tommy Mule was a married man. Our tiny little boy had become a tiny little man. And Tommy, having made this massive life decision, decided to settle down and fly right. He started taking his job seriously and honored his marriage vows and lived happily ever after.
Or he kept going out every night with his buddies. He kept being a dick at his job, and he cheated on his first wife like crazy. He brought home venereal diseases they had only previously seen in koala bears. When he woke up, there would be holes eaten through the sheets. At one point, his penis started screaming out of the little hole. That's how bad it was. And by the age of 25, believe it or not, Tommy was divorced. I know. It's always the good ones. He was in a dead-end job. His marriage was falling apart. His dong had turned a weird shade of greenish purple. And things were bad.
But while failing out of school and working at the Winn-Dixie, Tommy realized something. He can make people laugh. They say that the best comedians are the ones that are hiding the most pain. And based on all Tommy's jokes, that man feels no pain at all. But that didn't stop him. His dream to be a stand-up comic. He started going to open mic nights, which, if you've never been, are the most depressing place in the world. Even more so when 20-something Tommy Mule is working the room. From there, Tommy decides he's gonna go on the roads during the weekend.
And this was getting hard, guys. He was spending Friday, Saturday, Sunday night in clubs across the South, and then Monday through Friday stealing everything not nailed down from work. He was stealing so much that he was swiping the choicest cuts of meat from the meat room and giving it to comedy club owners so they would book him. That's true. That's a true story. Some folks will strip to get on stage. Tommy was stealing New York strip to get on stage. And the more Tommy did comedy, the more confident he got. He got first prize in a prestigious comedy contest. He didn't win first prize. They gave him the first prize because he was the only guy in the contest small enough to fit in the jacket that was the first prize. True story? True story, great. And like the dick he is, he wore that everywhere so people think he won this contest. Tommy now had bigger dreams than just cutting meat for the rest of his life. He wanted to be a full-time stand-up comic, so he had a decision to make. Do you keep the sure thing blue-collar job that pays you well, gives you a home, a retirement, right, food on the table, or do you risk it all for a chance at fame and fortune, and most importantly, happiness? There was only one right thing to do. Keep the meat-cutting job. But Tommy went on the road anyways. He quit the Winn-Dixie, and in a week, the store was all of a sudden overstocked with every item they carried. Tommy went on the road full time. He was living his dream. But let me tell you, and I know this from personal experience, life as a road comic is hard. And every night, the crowd is a total crapshoot. And that's when you're a good comic, which Tommy was not. Things can get really lonely.
In fact, we know exactly how things were going for Tommy on the road. We have a copy of a letter that he sent back home to his mom. And Ryan here,
Hey.
he put it to music.
Dear mama, I'm on the road again. I'm gonna get on stage, I'm gonna knock 'em dead. I got my jokes in hand, guys see fame ahead. I'll be the one to make it, I don't care what you said. I'm gonna grab that mic, I'm gonna lay it all out. I'm gonna show 'em I'm funny, and I'll leave no doubt. But when I started the show, and something I didn't know, it's really, really hard to do a comedy show. I shit the bed. I shit the bed so hard. I did all my jokes page by page until I had to stop when I got booed off stage. I shit the bed. I shit the bed so bad. Didn't have no chance, no stroke of luck. It's hard to make 'em laugh when your comedy sucks. I shit the bed. And as I stood on stage telling all my jokes, I got a certain kind of vibe from the audience folks. Didn't like me at all, they didn't giggle a bit. It's hard to be a comic when your jokes are shit, but you'll see my name in lights, you'll start.
You know I'm better than this. I know I am. Get 'em. Show you back home. I have a master plan.
See my name in lights, you'll see me on TV, or I'll end up making money selling my kidney. I shit the bed. I shit the bed, my friends.
Came out tonight to have some fun. And when I took the stage, that time was done.
shit the bed. I shit the bed, my friends.
Every night it's a different town, 'cause the jokes are so bad I can't stick around.
I shit the bed.
Well, as you heard from the song, this is not the dream he had in mind. He was traveling across the country in a Geo Metro, the smallest mass production car in America at the time. Kids used it on go-kart tracks. He was staying in motels every night, and not like the fun Route 66 motels, more like people live here and there's a 30% chance I wake up stabbed in my room motels.
He wasn't playing the comedy clubs he thought he would either. In fact, he was hardly playing comedy clubs at all. This is a fact. Tommy did stand-up at multiple prisons. And he still walked 5 guys a night. They were willing to get shot jumping the fence than have to listen to his closer. He was now in his 30s. He weighed 110 pounds because he couldn't afford food. For just 10 cents a day, you could have fed Tommy Mule on the road. But there was a beacon of light in the distance.
And this one was a catch. She lived in Lexington, Kentucky, and she was a high society kind of Kentucky. Her parents had major money, members of the Lexington elite. She was highly educated, multiple degrees. She had a big-time future. And as these women most often do, she fell for a complete moron.
I know that story.
This was his ticket to a normal life. He could settle down with her, and despite all the odds, live a fantastic and charmed life with money that wasn't his, much like his childhood. Tommy was head over heels in love. He popped the question, and this woman accepted for some reason. Tommy Mule was engaged again, and things were looking up. All he had to do was stay faithful and honor this woman the way she deserved. And did he do that? Did he live happily ever after?
Of course he did. He cheated on her too. And this one was even worse. While engaged to this woman, he started seeing a different woman on the road called Troutmouth. He gave her that nickname himself. She had a bald spot. All true. He could have had a rich and beautiful and successful fiancée in Kentucky that would have solved all of his problems. And he started a side relationship with Troutmouth. Yes, thank you. Now, some ladies have no problem being the other woman. Troutmouth, it turns out, was not one of those women. Because one night, after a show Tommy was doing, she found out about Tommy's fiancée.
It happened in a parking lot, and she was pissed. So pissed, in fact, and this is an actual event in Tommy's life. She decided she wanted him dead. So she got in her car, she revved the engine, and she took off right for him.
1, 2, 3, 4. Hold on, we'll try it again.
1, 2, 3, 4.
What the hell's going on here? What are you at? 1, 2, 3, 4. Just play. Okay.
There it is. Got it. All right. Headlights right in your face, little pieces of Tommy all over the place. You gotta act fast. I'll tell you this, she's out for revenge and she's fucking pissed. Troutmouths are coming, today's the day. She knocked you while you had a fiancé. Ooh, Troutmouths are coming, you better hide. She just found out she's the chick on the side. Troutmouths are coming, ooh, Troutmouths here. She wants to run your ass down to teach you a lesson, and she knows just where to steer. Ooh, Troutmouths are coming. got a choice to make. What do? You leave her in the past if you thought it through, but even after it's done, she's still kinda hot. Even with that ever-growing balding spot, trout mouths are coming, and she wants you. The time for Tommy is the best he can do. Trout mouths are coming, and she wants blood. She's got the same haircut as Elmer Fudd. Trout mouths are coming. Ooh, trout mouse here. She's got a heart full of hate. She's driving it straight and she's putting it in first gear. Ooh, trout mouse are coming.
Thank you.
This is not the dream he had in mind. He was traveling across the country. Oh, I am on the wrong spot.
Way to go, Kimmy. Wait, it all fell apart.
It did.
We made it 25 minutes. And
I
we
skipped
screwed it
backwards
all
in
up.
his life, and nobody wants to do that. So back to Troutmouth. At the last possible moment, Tommy jumped out of the way, which is the reason he's here today. It was a close call, though. He not only could have ended his engagement, he could have been killed. Tommy had learned his lesson. Just kidding, he had sex with Troutmouth just a few hours after she did that.
Don't cheer that. What's wrong with you people? Tommy decided his engagement was not going to work, and he broke it off. So now in his early 30s, he had lost 2 engagement rings. He had done stand-up comedy for years. He had gotten nowhere. There were no holes left in his belt he could use to hold up his pants. Things were bad, but somehow this man was about to catch another break.
You see, in a city he had never been, there was a radio show he had never heard of. And that radio show was dominant. It was The Brother Weiss Show. It was always #1. The folks in Rochester, they lived for it. And Weiss, he was looking for a co-host. And by the stroke of luck, Tommy had worked with another comic that was on Weiss's show, and she recommended him.
By the way, real quick, Kim, I don't mean to cut you off. The woman who recommended Tommy for this job, he met her, got angry with her when he was driving around doing a comedy gig, and threw her out of his car on, where were you, I-79? Threw her out of the car. Threw her out of the effing car, and this woman still gave him a recommendation for the gig. But I'm sorry, Kimmy, go ahead.
Believe it or not, Tommy had no radio experience. He didn't know Weiss. He had no knowledge of anything about Rochester. So they put him on air to audition, because he got an interview. And then he got another audition. And before he knew it, this high school failure, meat-cutting dropout, road comic that couldn't cut it, was on the mic for one of the most dominant radio shows in America. "1993 is the year that changed it all. He moved to Rochester, and Rochester welcomed him with open arms.
Welcome to your future. Welcome to your life. Welcome to a place where you'll be larger than life. But there are some things you should know before you settle down that you can make the most of living in this town. We are a Kodak town. Ah, shit, the stock went down. It still don't bother me. Oh, wait, now it's MCC. Welcome to the Rock. We'd love to have you here. We love our red and white hots, and we make a lot of beer. Welcome to the Rock. We really hope you stay. Once you have the accent, you'll never break away. Welcome to the Rock. Welcome to the Rock. you like Italian. There's pasta everywhere. We hope you like the garbage plate. We have a love affair. If you like old-time carousels, we think you'll be amused. There's a 100-year-old man here that we watch on the news.
Welcome to the ride.
Serial killers galore.
Welcome to the ride.
And don't forget Mob War.
Welcome to the ride.
None of those things are fun,
Welcome to the ride.
but we tell everyone.
Welcome to the rock. We love you, point of view. Everyone's a moron.
Unless that moron's you.
Welcome to the rock, a town that spends $1. You shop at the wrong grocery store. People think you suck.
Welcome to the rock. Welcome to the rock. Welcome to the rock. Welcome to the rock.
Normally, a new radio host ingratiates themselves into a community with kindness. They work with charities, they MC events, they put themselves out in the community and meet folks and put smiles on their faces. Tommy decided to take a new approach.
Being the worst person that ever lived. He was disgusting on the air. He pissed everyone off. Multiple people threatened him, with some even showing up in person. This was a problem for the 5'5", rapidly chubbying, budding star. But Tommy didn't let that deter him. He hadn't gotten this far by letting other people tell him what to do, what to think, how to feel. And he pressed on, being as mean and as gross and as stupid as ever. All of those things that had held him back in the past and cost him opportunity here in Rochester made him a star, which I don't know what that says about us.
He was great on the air. He had appearances every other night. He drove around Rochester with a trunk full of porno that he gave out to listeners. And let's be honest, who wouldn't love a man handing out free pornography out of his truck?
It's true.
Trunk.
Yeah.
Despite all the odds against him, his entire life, things were actually good. He had a job he loved, and he was good at it. He had friends, he had a future. In just a few short years, this man went from a single, broke, unfunny road comic who was sneaking into soup kitchens with his friend who had cerebral palsy.
That's a true story. He snuck into a soup kitchen with his friend that had cerebral palsy.
To a professional broadcaster that was getting dominant ratings and being paid to broadcast from the Olympics, high-end vacation resorts, Bills road games, he met someone new as well. And because it had worked out so well for him in the past, Tommy decided, with everything else in his life going so great, it was time to settle down once more.
He built a home. He moved out to Webster, where life is worth living, I hear. He had himself a future. This man, despite all the odds, had truly carved out a piece of the American dream. It was great, and there was no way for him to screw this up. He had truly made it, and nothing could send things south for Tommy anymore.
And then he screwed it up. You know, marriage is hard. Harder for some more than others. And after a few years, things got too hard to deal with. Not for the same reasons that happened in the past, this time for adult reasons. Because being an adult can be the hardest thing you'll ever do. Something Tommy was about to find out. Tommy was a single man again. And just like at home, his success at work was starting to change. A show with big success and big egos, they can only go on for so long. And Brother Wheeze, after all those years on WCMF, after the best ratings of his career, having Tommy by his side, decided he wasn't being paid what he deserved. It was time for Wheeze to go. The only...
Guys. Keep going, I don't care, whatever, go ahead.
The only man Tommy had ever worked with in radio hit the road.
Left behind was a room full of misfits, radio lifers, that were now competing against a legend they had worked with for years. But that's okay, right? Tommy is tough. Yeah. He has talent. He can dig deep and forge ahead and show the world one more time that you don't count out a borderline high school dropout with a 4th grade reading comprehension. Yeah.
It got bad. It got really bad. While his former co-host enjoyed massive success and ran his mouth on a news station, the ratings at WCMF took a hit. They were so bad, we almost had to sell the M and the F to stay in business. WC, as in will WC if Tommy and the crew still have a job in 6 months.
And in an effort to try anything that worked, there were some very interesting segments that Tommy took part in. There was a time, and you guys may have heard this, where an older female dominatrix came into the studio in full leather and punished Tommy, which was a strange idea, but it was nice to see him working with his mother again. There was a time that Tommy hosted listeners in his home full of empty rooms to do a comedy show and concert. It was actually the first time people voluntarily came over to his house in years. There was a segment where they called legendary baseball manager and icon Tommy Lasorda and woke him up over and over again at 4 o'clock in the morning because nothing says brilliant radio like pissing off an 80-year-old man for some reason, which ironically is what we now do every day on the air.
It's true. But no matter what they tried at WCMF, the ratings kept going down, and it looked grim. The good news was, it's not like it could get any worse, right? Wrong, because then the host that he had stayed with to try to make the show work on WCMF, a friend and confidant who was going to see this through with him, decided he wasn't anymore. He, too, was going to work across the street and leave Tommy behind. Tommy had gone from toast of the town, champagne wishes, and caviar dreams to being left abandoned by his 2 friends in a windowless closet full of microphones. There was no one left to help, and it looked like this could be the end.
Empty home, last place show, got no one to love, got nowhere to go. He gave his all, but now comes the fall. It's all done. Now what to do? In need of a plan. Not many roads for a dumb, ugly man. There's always one way to make things okay. You can always do porn. You can always do porn. Pics of your feet while you're beating your meat. You can always do porn. You can always do porn. And he's got a link for an elderly twink. You can always do porn. You don't have to look good, don't need no techniques. Just prop open your camera and spread open those cheeks. There's someone out there who's into back hair. Don't feel no shame, don't you dare hide your face while you're treating the world to your genital space. You'd have to agree, it beats working with the wheeze. You can always do porn. You can always do porn. Give your penis a hand for a nice lonely man. You can always do porn. You can always do porn. There's money, I'm told, when you're making white gold. You can always do porn. You can always do porn. Cash in the bank when you're stroking your crank. You can always do porn. You can always do porn. You got no other way, be it by straight or gay. You can always do porn. You can always do porn. Everybody! You can always do porn. You can always do porn.
Oh, you're Ryan. Ryan Duffy one more time. Give him a round of applause. But when things looked the darkest, a shining light showed itself. You see, all the time Tommy was working for WCMF, he was still hanging around the comedy club, telling jokes, meeting local comics, and one of those comics was a teenage boy from Gates. You guys know I'm talking about me, right? I don't know. Okay, listen. That for some reason shared a bond with this grown-ass man. So Tommy did what any other grown-ass man would do. He started buying him drinks. Totally normal for a man of his age to befriend a 15-year-old boy over 3 Olives grape vodka.
That boy, his name was Pat Duffy. And he had issues of his own, also an unfunny comedian, also going nowhere in life, also ugly and stupid and disappointing everyone he knew.
Why are you cheering that? Fuck you guys.
Tommy had gotten Duffy on the radio years ago when Brother Wease had left. He'd come on the air once a week, and they'd make fun of each other in the most brutal fashion possible. And that led to a job for Pat at another station, 98 PXY.
So as I was doing that job, Tommy all alone, I called him. I was getting the job on WCMF. Yeah, I did do that. Tommy, in a matter of 4 years, was going from working with the biggest name in radio in New York to a 26-year-old disaster with zero experience. Tommy straight up, I called him, he said no. That's a true story, by the way. I called Tommy and I told him, look, I'm going to apply for the job. And a guy I've known for 10 years, I figured he was going to be like, yeah, that's a great idea, let's work together. And he goes, I shouldn't do it because the news show would suck, and he wanted to work with somebody else. Hand to God, that's a conversation we had. So I hang up the phone, I go, oh man, that was okay. A couple days later, I get a call from my boss, who tells me they're giving me the job at CMF. So I had to call Tommy back and be like, I swear to God, I didn't apply for the job, Tommy. You go ahead.
And when Pat came on, Tommy was right. It was terrible. People hated them. They got nothing but letters of disgust. Ratings continued to plummet, and a pair of misfits that no one else wanted, they were being laughed at by every other radio personality in town. It seemed like it was just a matter of time before it was all over.
It's true. But the changes weren't done yet. The show needed a female perspective, and management at WCMF knew of someone. Kimmy was a girl born and raised right here in Rochester. The pride of Hilton, New York. And she'd been working part-time producing call-in radio shows at another station. And the bosses heard her, and they liked her. And they came to Tommy and I, and they said, hey, guys, what do you think? And both of us thought it was the stupidest idea we'd ever heard of. A 24-year-old girl on the air with the two of us. The things that we say, the stuff that we do, there is no way this is going to work. But again, WCMF management overruled us, and here came Kimmy. I know.
Thank you. Thank you.
And I got to be honest. When Kimmy started on the show, things were a bit weird. Because when it came to being on a mic, Kimmy wasn't what you would call good. When she started, she wasn't funny, she wasn't insightful, she wasn't attractive, people didn't like her. Oh, you laughed at me, you fucking... All right. One time, Kimmy pronounced the word Amish 5 times.
I did that.
That's a real thing that happened.
I can't deny it.
It's in a promo.
You probably heard it.
But what Kimmy did not do was take any shit from anybody. And it was the first time in Tommy's career he had a coworker that was not afraid of him, because she gave him back exactly what he gave her.
And from the ashes of what was this dominant radio show that had collapsed all around Tommy, something happened, and we don't know how, and we don't know why. No one could ever do it again if they wanted to. But these 3 misfits that no one wanted on their own worked together. And all of a sudden, the show was good. Good enough.
Good enough. Yeah, it was good enough.
It also helped that everyone else in radio was getting fired and turning 80 years old.
Big help there. Big help.
Definitely helped.
Yeah.
Timing. But they do say timing is everything.
Sure, yes.
Just like that, Tommy was back on top. This time, the big name that he deserved to be on a show that he wanted to do, or at least we think.
Fucking matters.
And it wasn't just going, and work wasn't just going well, because while things were collapsing in his work life, his personal life got an unexpected boost. A letter delivered to the wrong home led Tommy to meet a beautiful woman way out of his league in every conceivable way.
Yeah. He knocked on her door as an amateur postman, and he was smitten. She's on the right. It was love at first sight, and he wanted to see her again, and somehow, despite his looks and lack of charm and bug eyes and tiny stature, and the fact that in that time period he was in his weird, giant collared purple shirt phase, he looked like Pale Prince, I'm not kidding. She was also smitten. He asked her out, and part of her weekly act of kindness, she said yes. And it went well. So they went out again, and before you know it, the pair were in love. So in love, in fact, that Tommy, after all the years of doing it wrong, finally got it right. The pair were married, and Tommy got to move into her house, which is great, because he was about 3 months away from living under a bridge.
And this woman, she not only loved him for him and understood what he was all about, she brought him something else to the table. Tommy, he didn't really have a family. His parents were gone, as was his sister. His brothers were thousands of miles away, as they had been for years. He never had any kids. He was alone. Well, now he had 2 wonderful stepkids who had no idea how awful he was.
True. It's true.
So they liked him. For the first time in his life, people were calling him Dad. Ugh. This disgrace was a husband and a stepfather. And it got better from there.
As the break room trudged on, Kimmy got meaner, therefore funnier. Tommy, through his stepson and daughter-in-law, welcomed into the world a beautiful baby grandson. And he was over the moon. He had people who he loved that loved him back. He had coworkers that loved coming into work with him every day. He had a home and a partner and peace of mind. A kid from Jersey, a mistake of a boy, Aw. A mistake of a boy whose parents didn't know what to do with him. A kid who never felt good enough, was told he was dumb and would never amount to anything, the truth. A young man who had no future, a dead-end job he hated, and an endless line of busted-ass women that he disappointed.
A man who gave it all up to follow his dream of stand-up and failed in spectacular fashion. A man who caught a break and became a massive radio star only to see it all seemingly go away in the blink of an eye. A man who got a second chance with 2 other cast-offs that no one wanted and ended up being better than he ever was on the air before. That man, despite all odds against him, had made it. He went from despised to beloved.
By the way, he's asleep in that left picture. He had a creepy wisdom that even the young listeners he thought were douches respected. A man who used what he had gone through in life and been through in 5 other lives, giving a very unique perspective on the show every single day. And that man finally found what he never knew he wanted. A woman that loves him, a family that cherishes him, co-workers that love to work with him every day, and a bunch of people who tune in just to hear what falls out of his stupid mouth.
This man...
By the way, Tommy's the one in that man's arms. I don't know if you know that.
This man is the American dream. He's proof that life, it's never over, that there isn't a brick wall you can't get past. And 3 decades on the air proves that if he can do it, anyone can do anything. This man is an idiot, but he is our idiot.
Yes, he is. Yes.
And he's an idiot that did it his way totally by accident.
He did. And look, I mean, first of all, you guys honoring him tonight being here, it means a whole bunch. And you guys are wonderful. But there was only one way we could close out this show. And you've heard his hits on WCMF for years. For his first performance ever in Rochester, New York, please welcome Ribs, Arkansas.
Hi there, I'm Ribs, Arkansas. I love you too, baby girl.
All right. Don't let it go to his head. That hat doesn't fit as it is.
Don't you talk to Ribs, Arkansas like that.
All right, let's go. You go.
No, you lead it.
What happened to the accent, asshole?
It's still there. Play the song. There it is. There it is.
Yeah, you got it.
Everyone gather around and listen to a man named Tommy Mule. He's a failure, a loser, a serial boozer, yet somehow he stands here today as the funniest fucker with the mouth of a trucker that can clear out the room with a sound. But we love him, we need him, and some want to be him. There's no one else like him around. He's an accidental success. Despite himself, he's the best. And no one looks better in a turtleneck sweater and 2 giant boobs on his chest. He's an accidental success, and no one deserves it less. But we sit and we listen to his moaning and pissing about what with his life that's a mess. Take it, Pat.
His life ain't been easy, but his mouth's always easy, and it gives him the comfort he needs. And he'll tell you he's great, got so much on his plate, even though no one really agrees. But the way that he talks and his short step and walk make the ladies in Pittsburgh go, ooh. So despite all his faults and his lack of results, he's a guy that you want next to you.
He's an accidental success. His ego you need to caress. If you don't hear he's great, he gets really irate, and he'll say with your mom he had sex. He's an accidental success.
Not really pious, but blessed. If you give him a shot, he'll show you what he's got, and he'll end up a beautiful mess.
Everybody, an accidental success. And your buttons he loves to press.
You'll get angry and mad, but it's not all that bad when you see he don't own no address. He's an
Accidental success.
His life has been mostly distress, but with us by his side and
his beautiful bride.
He can do more than we've ever guessed. Rips Arkansas, ladies and gentlemen. One more time for Ryan Duffy. Let him hear it, guys. Come on. Ladies and gentlemen, the man you are here to honor this evening, one big round of applause for Mr. Tommy Mule. What do you want?
Oh my God, come on, right here.
Hold on, I don't mean to cut you off. I'm sorry. I'm going to keep talking. I know I've been talking for a fucking hour.
Good.
We do, the WCMF got together, all the folks here. They got you a gift. Shannon, where are you at, Shannon? Shannon has a gift for you here.
What you got? What is it?
You got to open it, asshole. That's how a gift works. Jesus. What do you do with this? He's already got that. For those who don't, it is a custom cigar humidor.
Oh my God. Whoa. So you want me to die of cancer, you motherfucker? Thank you. Hey, here's some more cancer. Here, fucking have that. No Cubans, sorry. First of all, let me, I love these two kids right here, man, like family. Give them a nice round of applause. They truly, truly saved my radio career, and I will never forgive them for that. Also, Ryan motherfucking Duffy. Get up here, kid. Come on. Right there, baby. There you go, buddy. You want a cigar? You want a humidor or something like that? Great kid. Couple things real quick, and then we'll just let you go do your thing, man. I just got to thank some people here. First of all, what the fuck did I do? Fuck that shit. Let me thank Three Heads. Give them a nice round of applause tonight. Because it's every guy's dream when you've had a 30-year career to end up in a dank bar and named after a crowded blowjob. I don't even know what their business plan was. Let's build a goddamn bar and then hide it where I can't fucking find it. My wife and I drove for 2 fucking hours trying to find this place tonight. We got carjacked, we're walking, she's on her phone going, I hate this little motherfucker. Turn left. What? Turn left? What the fuck? But truly, thank you again for coming out tonight. You're the reason we do this every day, man. CMF rocks. 50 years of rock and roll. I do believe the ghost of Uncle Raj is here tonight. Thank you again for coming out today, man. God bless you. We'll do it again in a couple of weeks. Thank you. Good night.
Ladies and gentlemen, one more time for Kimmy Gerber. We got a big round of applause doing her thing. One more big thank you to Three Heads. Take care of the folks that have been taking care of you all night. My name is Pat Duffy. Have a great night. Thank you so much for being here. We really appreciate you and love you. We'll see you.